Hey, everybody. I'm checking something out real quick. It's a little bit of a delay. There it goes. Huh. All right. Interesting. So, hey, what's up? Welcome to Keeping It Shrimple. I'm trying to get comfortable in my seat. Happy Wednesday. So, let's see. I've seen some of you been in here for a little bit, chatting away. Hello, Eduardo Antonio Orengo Costa. And you're tested positive for pregnancy. Oh, my God. Petsotics, hello, Cassie B. Awesome. Mary Page Flynn. Cass. Petsotics. Mystery Snail Guardians. Eric Wyrock. And I get why you do that now. Monster Fish Gal. Lori, hello. Maria Z, hello. Master Aquatics. Just call me Eduardo. Hello. IHSP. I hate stupid people. What's up? Let's see. Who else? New local Austin. Grant. All right, Grant. I'm glad you stopped by, though. Terry's Tropical Tanks. Pride Moore's Fishing More. Wow. There's lots of you in here. I kind of hit the button a little bit early, but I was trying to test the delay, and it looked like for me on this particular occasion, it was probably about 20 seconds, I think, of delay. I'll have to go back and watch the replay to find out for sure, but I think that's about what it was. Cool deal. All right, so I had an interesting topic picked out for tonight. Hopefully the title says it, because ever since I got out of surgery and went through my recovery process, and then driving back and forth to Mansfield to go to the store, it really took a lot of time away from me taking care of my tanks. And while I've been working really hard lately to catch back up, one of the things I'm starting to think is that I'm fighting a losing battle. So basically, that's the topic. Is it time to reset my tanks? And what I've done so far is this middle row, all of those have been reset. I took them off the rack, washed them out, scraped the glass. I use well water, so I just washed it until the water came out semi-clean, left a little bit of the mold in there, and then put them back up. And I'm thinking it's time to do that all the way around. But kind of my question comes to you. Have y'all ever done that? Or do you continue to go through the water change process? I'd love to hear some of your thoughts on it. Post it in the chat or something, because sometimes we set up a tank and of course we go through the natural process, algae growth, green walls, depends on what your situation is, the fish, everything that you put in it. And you go through the process of letting it age and mature. And sometimes, like with me, for example, I pretty much couldn't do anything. And even when I did, it was difficult, I'll say at best, doing about maybe a quarter of the bucket full, a 5-gallon bucket. And I'd only put it about a quarter full because that was about all I could carry after my surgery. So it took a while before it grew to about a third, then about a half, then 3/4, and so on and so forth. And now it's pretty much a full bucket. So trying to catch up to a tank that maybe starts going sour on you, you do bigger water changes, more frequent water changes. Sometimes it's not enough. I don't know. Is it? So somebody post your opinion. What do you think? I know everybody's saying hello. Hey, Dee Dee, TN Aqua, Sandy Farrell, Stephen P, Lady Diane, Matt, Liquid Zoo. Cool deal. So, come on, somebody throw a chat. Let me see a question. Here, let me look on the YouTube side. Nope. Okay, Stephen P, you do more frequent and larger water changes. Have you ever gotten to a point? Well, how many tanks do you have? Because I have a lot, at least for in this little room. Brown water issue in my 50 tub. Let's see. Drove me crazy for 2 months. I had enough a few weeks ago. Yeah, and that's kind of like what I'm dealing with. And that's the thing. That's the general consensus, and that's kind of why I was doing it the way I was doing it, because I figured it's just a matter of doing more frequent water changes and maybe even larger amounts from 30% to 50%. Now, mind you, this is in most of the tanks that I'm talking about is fish tanks, not my shrimp tanks. They're where I have the guppies and the cichlids and whatever else. But that's where, even if it was a Neo tank, I'm almost thinking it's much better than trying to chase the water and fix it naturally. As much as I want to do it naturally, it's kind of like my tanks need a reset, because I'm using them a little bit differently now than the way I was when I set them up. Does that make sense? Can you summarize the issues you're having again? I just had to deal with algae and high nitrates and a high-tech setup. So just lots of turkey basting, mulm and stuff, and frequent changes. Okay, so I'll give you an example. These 3 tanks right here wasn't really having a problem. The far one here was where I had my dark rams. And there was really not an issue, but the water it didn't look clear, if that makes sense. The one in the middle had a high tannin issue and a lot of algae. And this one on the right, it was always kind of hazy, and it had a different kind of algae that I'm not really sure where it came from. And it had dark, I think, spot algae on it also. The other tanks, like the ones on the bottom, I believe they're that green algae bloom type, because I can't get rid of that greenish tint to the water. No matter how much water I change and how often, it reverts back to the green looking kind of stuff. So is that explained the kind of the problems? Let's see. Go up here. Hi, Carrie. Good to see you in here. Papa Shrimp, I have 34 tanks, 15 tanks for 29 gallons or smaller. I do weekly changes. The larger tanks, I do bi-weekly water changes. Larger fish, less in those tanks. The 200 gallon, I do 25%. Okay. But have you ever gotten to a point, hey, Yellowstone, what's going on? You ever gotten to a point, and I have my notes here, to where you've reset a tank? Have any of you reset a tank, basically? High light, high nutrients in some? Probably. That's what I'm thinking. I think it's a bacteria bloom in the green water ones. Because even though I'm somewhat colorblind, I can tell the difference between the tannin water and the green water, if that makes any sense. UV filter. See, I've thought about that too, J-Rock. The UV filter. it's interesting because, that's a good point. On Amazon, go look, because in the Black Friday sales, I was looking through Amazon and I saw one that they have that's a small miniature UV light that goes in your hang on back filter. And you're supposed to put it back there. It's small and it's like $15. I was thinking about getting one because I do have a hang on back filter that I use when I reset my tanks. And I'll put that in there and run. It'll help clear up the water, suck up any of the debris, catches it in the filter, and I move it from tank. I have one, so I move it from tank to tank when I need to. I cheat that way. But the UV sterilizer. See, I've thought about using them, but I never really wanted to because I'm so stuck on trying to be natural or stay natural, do it the natural way, add more plants, put the flow in the appropriate spots of the tank so that way everything gets a chance to breathe. The only reason you'd reset a tank is due to unexplained mass die-offs. Yeah, and trust me, that's exactly where my brain takes me. That's the general consensus. But that's basically what we all do. We set a tank and we don't mess with it, and we try to fix it, and only when it's dire circumstances do we reset a tank. Well, all the baby fry in that bottom tank are doing awesome. The Corys and the Pistos are doing great in that one. The guppies in there, they're doing great in that one. So I'm not having massive die-offs, but the difference, the way the tanks feel to me, is those that I've reset, they just look happier, if that makes sense. So now I'm kind of trying to, bounce some ideas off of you guys, because I know I'm not definitely an expert. I'm pretty darn good, but we all can learn something every day. And I guess it's to each his own, whatever you're comfortable with. But I'm kind of, I'd like to bounce this off. Let's see, I couldn't get a grasp on the green water. I changed water for days. Huh. That's interesting. And that's kind of why I thought maybe, especially because now I know I'm going to eventually have more tanks than what I have now. So I better get my processes and my way of dealing with these issues, get all the practice and mistakes in now before my setup continues to grow bigger. Pearl weed algae is equalizing the aquarium. Right. I do. And that's why I've always said that, like, water sprite to me is like a magical plant. Throw it in when you're having problems with algae. Throw water sprite in there as much as you can, and even if you just float it, it'll take care of algae most of the times. I do agree about the UV, and only if you don't like the look. Green water makes happy fishy, but it's ugly. That's true. The baby fried, that's why I haven't really messed with that one down there, because I got a lot of, those are gold lace or yellow lace guppies in there, and there's a bunch of fry, and the parents aren't eating them, so I'm leaving them alone. But in some of my other tanks, where I know I can afford to take whatever's in there and move it to another tank and reset that tank, I'm almost thinking, why not? If I had one aquarium, I probably wouldn't do that. But since I have multiple, and like I said, I want to practice as much naturally as I can. And what's a better way to just start all over with the tank and start, paying attention more and seeing if it works? Because every tank that I've set up so far has been better than the last one, and it's running better than the last one, if that makes sense. I love these tanks up here. They've been pretty much no maintenance. And I had an algae problem in this first tank, but I put water Sprite in there and I put a bunch of it, threw it on top, and algae's almost completely gone. And the water's crystal clear. Same thing over there. In those three, now the algae's disappearing just with plants. So I know I'm getting the balance right. Let's see here. I couldn't even see in my tank. It was so green. Wow. See, my water isn't like that green to be green water, but it's got the green hint to it. And I guess maybe because I have been trying to change my water more frequently to help fight it. Okay. So that's a good question, Stephen. So what is exactly the definition of a reset? Are you talking full clean out, new substrate, restarting the cycle? Okay, so what I did with these three is I took them off after I took the fish out and put them in another tank. Took all the plants out, all the driftwood, all the rocks. It was just substrate. And then took it outside once I emptied the water and used my hose and washed. I just sprayed that substrate and got all the mulm out of there until there was just barely, there was still some mulm left, but it was cleaned out pretty darn good. The sponge, I squeezed it and then I took it and cleaned the heck out of the sponge. Or I didn't. Hey, there's Brian. Let me get him in here. Or I just squeezed out the sponge a little bit and I cleaned it out and I set the tank back up, filled it with water, put rocks, plants, whatever back in it, cleaned out the sponge, put it back in, and reset. Now I have fish in it. And like I said, the tank seems happier to me. And it's kind of, like I said, I know if you only have one tank, it seems you're going too far. You're going too far, Brian. What you think? But
can you hear me?
When I'm moving from tank to tank or being able to utilize my other tanks, I think it's just healthier all the way around. And I kind of want to do it all the way around, except for my shrimp tanks. My shrimp tanks are happy.
He said happy. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
You can hear me?
That's one of the things, like with my Sawasser tank, I keep on rotating it. And
keeping up?
Eventually that algae breaks off, but you got to move it around a little bit so the algae breaks off. I can't hear you yet.
Speaker. Check. Mother. Up there it is. Can you hear me?
Can
you hear me?
I'll tell you what I did just recently. I took some of the Sawasser tank, had some algae in it. I put it in a medium breeder box. I set it up on my sink in a way that it's going to drip back into the sink, and I started dripping water in it. And then I slowly go rotate it and try to wash it off a little bit, empty out the water. It washes off the algae, and then I drip the water back in it. I can't hear you.
Can you hear me yet? I'm on my phone. I don't know why it's not working. Hold on.
Well, they can hear you.
Oh, yeah?
I guess that's all that matters. I don't have to listen to you.
Check. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? Oh, he still can't hear me.
That makes sense, J-Rock. Sometimes if you get the plants to start growing and consuming with adding supplements, that in itself will fight off the algae.
Check. Oh, they can hear me. It's all that matters.
Oh, there it is.
What's going on?
Thanks Thanks, Stephen. Not that I was an idiot and had it on mute the whole time.
Oh, can you hear me? Can you hear me? What a cracker. Jesus. I'm like, he said it to Facebook. There's nothing on their Facebook ain't on the computer no more. So I'm like, all right, I gotta go on my phone. I'm like, you can't hear me? Oh my God. Well, everyone, hello. It's good to see everybody. And it just lets you know any shrimp that Papa Shrimp don't have, we got them here at Motor City Aquatics. So just give us a call and we'll take care of you. How's everybody doing?
Crap.
Hey.
Wow.
Massive. Yeah, it's good stuff.
I didn't even notice. I didn't even notice that it was on mute. Oh,
Jeez,
Lord.
Louise. I don't know what else it would be on.
Hi, Brian. How you doing?
I am good. How are you? I had to hurry up, take a shower. Sorry, I'm running late. What's up?
Nah, it's all good. We got on it's Street Yard has been wonky.
What?
Hey, Tim. Yeah, I know. I'm a dumbass. Sorry, I'm a dumb beep. But yeah, so we're talking about resetting tanks because that I've been doing some of my tanks, and now
I do it too.
Now that I've done it, I kind of want to do it all around just because it feels like it's the right thing to do.
I see a lot of positive response when I do it also. It just seems to, the only thing I keep an eye out for if I reset a tank, because like I've said before, I use boiling hot waters, as hot as my hands can handle to kill everything, get it out. But the only thing you have to watch out for is the hot water kills snails. So if you have snails and ram's horns and stuff, you just want to keep stirring that water because when the snails die, they lose their air bladder or whatever, their buoyancy, and they float. So you stir it, get them out, dump them out, just keep going. And then when you put it back together, just in case you missed one or two, just make sure you put a little prime in there. Just in case, so nothing's suffering when you put it all back together. But other than that, I mean, I spoke to you about it. I mean, I've done it I don't know how many times. That one down there was broken. I put a new tank, put everything in it, brand new substrate. It doesn't not even dirty substrate, and never lost a shrimp, and they're as happy as can be. So it works. I would have to say it's because everyone always says the best time that their shrimps did the best was within probably the first 6 to 8 months. Then after that, things just peter out and everything just kind of levels out, and you're just keeping shrimp then. They do breed, but it's far and few between, and it has nothing to do with the shrimp. But since they are in a box and all the fecal matter and everything's in there, I mean, yes, you can have plants that'll eat it and everything like that, but if you're keeping an all shrimp tank, it does help to reset it. I think they really like it. I don't lose any shrimp out of it. So
right.
It works. It's positive. And, just take your time. Make sure you catch them all. Make sure you get everyone out of there, that you're not losing any as you're going along,
Well, one of the things that's really interesting to me is that, like I said, I get lucky or I find the right balance right off the bat, or it becomes a problem later on down the road. And for whatever reason, the shrimp tanks that I have set up, all my Caridina tanks that I have set up, have really done well. I had a little bit of an algae bloom here, but like this tank right here used to be completely full of green algae. And now it's all the way back from the tank and from the bottom, and it's only in the corners back here. And sometimes I'll go in there and pull it out manually, and that helps it too. It helps the other plants start to grow. And it's just Italian Val in there, but it's starting to take off and spread across the tank. But my other tanks that I set up wrong to begin with. I didn't really, like I said, after the surgery and I started quarantining fish for the store here. And then I had at times, maybe 30 to 50 fish in them and then moving them and getting them out. I think those tanks, I kind of want to just reset them because I'm not using them that way anymore.
Yeah, it's a really good idea.
I really like the way these are just coming out. The water looks so much healthier. And I know the fish in there, when I put them in there, I let it run and cycle for 2 days, 3 days before I did anything. Even though I had a sponge squeeze, even though I have plants with bacteria on them. And, I tried to save as much as I could. And like I said, my water has no chlorine and I use well water. So I don't have to worry about any of that. And then sometimes I use RO water and tap water, which is well water. Jamie Anderson. I just lost a tank that was a year-old bacterial infection I could not beat. Gonna nuke tank this weekend and start new. Really sucks to lose a whole colony one at a time. Yep.
Tell me about it. I think I've lost, one. I lost the crystals. I lost my tangerine tigers. I didn't even know that these shrimp were dying. I think those are the two that I lost the whole colony. I had no clue that they're dying. I just thought that they were, hiding in the moss. I'm like, oh, okay. You see a couple. It's not like I saw none. If you see 10, you're like, okay, well, this tank has like 300 shrimp in it. And, I just figured that they're, eating within the moss and stuff. And then down the road, a little while further down the road, I looked maybe a couple weeks later just for the heck of it because I still didn't see them out. And, because I drop food in there, you get 5 or 6 come out. But I'm not seeing 150 or 200 of them come out. And I went to move the wash container or whatever was in there, and they're literally all gone. So, and the crystal white's the same. I have like 2 or 3 crystal whites left, and now I'm getting almost a whole colony of tangerine tigers back again. But it's sometimes it's scary because you question yourself, what was on my hands? What did I put in there? What could it be? What could it be? And you don't know the answer. So it's kind of, water change. The bigger the water change, the better. But you just, it can't, if you're going to do a lot, you got to put it in slow. It's not like a regular, like 20% or 10% where you can put it in pretty good. You really got to put it in slow, but you figure if you do if you do a 60% water change on a tank and you put it in over hours, that's 60%. Right. But also, you've seen that I've literally tore down tanks in minutes and put new tanks up with new substrate, and all my shrimp live. So if it comes down to you're really afraid and, eat from cheap shrimp to expensive shrimp. Nobody wants to lose their shrimp, but if for some reason they're dying, don't be afraid to take them out. Put them in some water, and then, just reset the tank. Put it back together, put everything back in it. Just don't kill the bacteria in your sponge filter or whatever your filter is. Don't wash off, all the stuff in the tank. You just want to get rid of that water and get whatever's in that substrate out and then put it right back together. Hurry up. Because here's the thing. Let's say you reset a tank and you put in a 10-gallon, you put 10 gallons of water back in it immediately. There's no shrimp in it. But now what you do is you just drip those shrimp, just like you did when you first got them. You drip them into that water, and then they're in that water in an hour, 2 hours max, and now they're in a brand new tank and they've been dripped into it, just like you would have if you would have just bought them yesterday. So that's the cool thing about resetting a tank and putting them in. All your water parameters are set. Everything's clean now, but your bacteria and your bioload is still there, like it's an old tank. And you just put them in there, and it's like putting on a new pair of shoes. They're like, wow, this is cool. So. But I didn't know that back in the day. And when my shrimp started to die or disappear, I was just like, oh my gosh, what do I do? So I did the peroxide. There's a few things that I would try, few things that worked, but nothing that I can guarantee and say, hey, this is the answer. But the only answer that I would say, if I had to give a definite, that I think would be the best of all, is to reset the tank.
Right.
Reset it, pull them all out, because now they're not in that crap no more. It's kind of like when they're shipped to you or when you get them in the mail. The water is kind of yucky because they've been in the mail. And what do? You hurry up, you put them in some stuff, or you put them in a bowl or whatever, then you start putting the water out of the tank into there, it dilutes it, they feel good. So it's the same thing. You're getting them out of this crap water that's killing them, and then you get them in the new stuff. So,
and this is kind of where, and I rely on Lucas a lot, is the solution to pollution is dilution, right? So it's in a bigger setting. Instead of it being in a little dish.
Were you Willy Wonka?
Yes.
You got a lot of these flow words and everything.
But if you got a little dish and you're dripping it in there to clean the water, acclimate them in, it's the same thing with the tank. You dilute it, right? You dilute it with the water changes. At some point, you really when you're changing 50% like every other day, you're really changing the water too much maybe for the tank. So why not go ahead and just reset it? Because I don't think it's killing my bacteria. Now, if I had tap water with chlorine and chloramines that's coming from the city, I'd probably be thinking differently, but I'd be using RO water and adding my own minerals to whether it's GH, KH, or just GH, and I'd be using active substrate or inert substrate, depending on the application. But I don't think it really kills the bacteria cycle.
Well, can't you just also, when you do that, put you in a cap full of stability, or live bacterias? I mean, because they say, to help out the tank anyways, when you do a water change, is to put some live bacteria, replace it with fresh stuff every time anyways. So if you're going to do that, just put a cap full of live bacteria, whatever one you choose. I mean, you got stability, you got the Fritzheim 7. There's a whole bunch out there. Whatever you like best.
Yeah, and then that's the other thing, is that I try to take plants from tanks that I know are doing well, that I don't have any algae problems or anything, and the plants are flourishing, and I'll go clip them, and then I take them and I put them in the tanks, because it's taking the bacteria with them, So again, there's ways that you can put beneficial bacteria, without killing the cycle, because I have no chlorine. That's not a worry. And I like to use mosses a lot. So sometimes what I'll do is I'll take a hang-on box, hang-on breeder box, and one of those breeder boxes that I use all the time, and I'll fill it full of moss that I have, whether it's Java moss or Sauertang, and I'll put it in there and I'll let it drip water into it, because I know it's pulling some of that bacteria into the newly reset tank. There's ways to still maintain your cycle and keep good bacteria in there, and plants is the key, I think, but plants that are coming from healthy tanks.
Yeah, it's kind of all the same as the way I've noticed it lately.
Wait, I wanted to answer this question.
Oh, go ahead.
He said he's newer to shrimp, been fish keeping quite some time. I have 3 20 liters or 20 longs with blue dreams, cherries, and orange, with plants in each. How much often for water changes? That depends on how many plants and what type of plants that you have, because the more plants you have and the better array of plants that you have, whether it's like the Anubias and slow growers and stem plants and rooters, just depending on what you have, that will kind of determine how much you want to do it. Now, you can go with the standard cycle once a week, 20%, but it ends up being what works for you. The things I do is what works for me. So that's why I bounce these ideas off, because it's working for me. It may not work for everybody, and you may only have one tank. So why would you want to do that if things are going good, right? Todd, I like plants. What's up, Todd? Lady Diane had a question. Papa, how long have those tanks been running that you want to reset? It's December, so about 9 months. It's been about 9 months. And they never really had the chance to get right because, like I said, when I had my surgery, there was about a month and a half to 2 months that really I was a bad boy as far as tank maintenance.
You were just a bad boy.
Yeah, I was a bad boy.
You're Leroy Brown. He was the baddest man in the whole dang town. Yeah, some of my tanks, I mean, they've been up for 2 years. Look, I don't care what anybody says about fluval stratum. I ain't never reset. I use old fluval stratum. You guys see me take buckets from out my garage, tanks that I took down, and I'm resetting tanks with old fluval stratum. That stuff is built like steel. Anyone who says anything bad about it, they probably had plants in the tank. See, that's another thing. If you have plants buried in the substrate and they're feeding off of the substrate, it'll eat it up too. So you gotta take that into consideration too. I keep mosses. I don't keep plants. Well, I'm starting to again now, but the substrate just lasts forever and ever and ever and ever. I just watched a video the other day. Guy said he's got fluval stratum still running after 4 years. 4 years
Right.
Compared to all this other substrate that cost $1 bazillion to have. I use fluval and I use that other stuff, and it's great. But that's one thing I do like about it is, you go reset it, wash out. It doesn't break down. It doesn't turn to mush. It doesn't do anything. It just nice and easy with it. You just stir it with your hands, dump, keep rinsing the tank back and forth. It's kind of like panning for gold. I know it sounds weird, but how they move that pan around nice and easy, you just do it like that, and it works really good. You've been watching the morning show too much.
Now I just kind of wanted to. I've been messing around with Filmora, and this is the free version. This is the first video. This is the first video I've done on it.
Who are those strips?
Those are my PRLs.
Oh, they're yours?
Yes.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
You gonna get a copyright on this? Come on, that was funny.
Hold on, let me hide this.
There you go.
There we go. So I wanted to try this stuff out. It's free. I didn't know it would put this watermark there on it.
Yeah, you got to pay to get rid of that, but still, it looks really nice. Who cares?
Right. And that's like I said, this is one of the tanks that I set up and I never had any issues with. Maybe it's because of the mosses and everything that I got in there.
Oh, look at those. Where'd you get those?
Those are mine, but they come from an original set of 5 that I got from you. Actually, 6 of them that I got from you when you were Detroit Shrimp.
Those are the offspring from the ones that I sold you?
Yeah.
Wow, look at that. Boy, who's got the blue steels, baby? Other Papa Shrimp. Other Papa Shrimp. Dude. Yeah. Wow, those are dark. What do you keep your parameters at? Do you know?
Yes, this is about 120 on my TDS. Sometimes it gets down to 115, but that's why I try to keep it around 120. And
what are you feeding them?
Shrimp King Complete and Bacter AE and Shrimp Baby.
What's that off-colored one up there?
That one is one of the offspring from the Tangerine Tiger that I bred in there. And I've done looking and looking and looking, and I need to catch this one and pull it out in the other tank, put it in the other tank. But I
There's
think
always
they're just,
one.
it's like a tangerine tiger with white stripes. There's no other way to describe it because it's not red, and it's definitely got the tangerine tiger striping underneath the white stripes. You can kind of see it in that shot, but it's basically a tangerine tiger with white stripes.
Yeah,
And
it's
there's
like
another
the
one. See,
crystal.
I don't know where that other one came from, but that's a different batch. So I got 2 batches of those now. So somewhere in there, they're carrying that trait. Let's
The
see here.
tangerine tigers, right? Or are you saying the blue steel?
The tangerine tigers, that keep on popping out every once in a while.
You don't have plants in the, what does that say? In the fluval stratum tank? No, I don't keep plants in any of my tanks, except now I have, everything I have is, moss. Except some of these tanks down here now, I got a guppy tank that's actually getting ready to be filled up. Then I got, another tank that I have all my boosts. I've been putting my boosts in there. So, I can feed it, because I don't put chemicals in my shrimp tanks. And then I think it's just those 2. Yeah, just these 2 right for now. That's all I have plants in, or 3. Just these ones down here, just basic. But I just started doing it. The other ones, Caridina tanks, I don't have any plants at all in my Caridina tanks. None. Just all moss.
I get my Physidens moss, when I got it, I had gotten it from Marcus Fish Tanks. He's a local plant guy here to North Texas, but he has an online store. So just look up marcusfishtanks.com, and he's got all kinds of plants and lots of booze too. But he's the moss. That's where I got it from. These are my fancy red tigers. They're not on my site yet because most of them are buried, and there's a lot of fry in there that I'm waiting for them to grow out. Now, see, this is another tank that you could see the algae in the back. That algae used to be all the way up front. Well, now it's right there in the middle. But that's the algae that that's how the algae is going away. The TDS, it doesn't really give me much on how much crap I have in it. But that's really the only parameter that I really concern myself with. Sometimes I check my pH, but I always throw in some alder cones, and when I change the water, I make sure it's remineralized to the same TDS, not to the same pH, if that makes sense. The lower TDS allows, with the active substrate, because there is active substrate in there, that helps stabilize the pH at around usually 6.5 to 6.2 sometimes. It might creep up a little bit higher on my tiger tanks, but I know they can handle it.
Yeah, the only thing that I got that looks like a Physidin is the hookerus moss. And that's it. This hookerus moss, and I got a ton of mosses, but my biggest one, that the only really like plant, or I mean something I have that looks different is the hookerus moss. I have tons of that.
Yeah, I love that. I love that stuff. And you saw in one of the PRL tank, I'm trying to get that to propagate, and I keep on trimming it a little bit and then replanting it. And eventually I want to have big old bushes of it. In my other tank that has my clown killifish, there's a big old bush of it. It took off in that tank.
Yeah, it's everything does pretty darn good. So
yeah, and then that's another thing, Kevin, is when I learned a long time ago to really not chase parameters. So I don't try to do that. I will check parameters and use that as a guide, but chasing parameters I don't think is, especially with shrimp, it's not something I want to mess with too much, because then I could lose, really expensive colonies doing that. So I pay attention to the water clarity, to how they're eating, how their moats look, and I pay attention to the TDS. And then due to evaporation, I top them off and I add minerals so that way the TDS stays, pretty consistent. I mean, they can deal with a little bit of a TDS swing. The main thing is temperature. I don't want to put water in there that's 30 degrees into a 68-degree tank. So I pay attention to that temperature and the drip rate.
Yeah, I'll pay attention to none of that. Temperature, drip rate.
Well, you're a pro, man. You don't have to.
No, it's I
you
was
just
just
got it
gonna
like
say,
that, Brian.
no, the reason I don't is because I do smaller water changes. When I did bigger ones, I had to, because like you're saying, you could drop the temperature down pretty quick and stuff. So with having so many tanks, I was just like, gosh, how can I speed this up? So okay, instead of doing a 20 or 25%, do 10%. I don't flood it in there,
Right,
but I trickle it out of my 1/4-inch hose, as fast as it goes in, which is not fast. That's how fast, but I could pump it out of my RO and it could be freezing cold, and I'll pump it 70 feet over to here, and whatever temp it comes out, so it comes out. But if the tank is at 71 degrees and it only goes down to 70 after putting 10% back in, it changed the degree. It went slow, but I'm doing small amounts because, like I say, I have to do them fast. I got a lot, so I got to go. But yeah, if you do like you're saying, if you go too fast, you kill them. There's a good chance, anyways.
Right. And before we go too far, I want to remind everybody on December 18th, it will be the start of Rico Claus or Santa Rico or Rico Santa Claus or whatever it is. All of that, the giveaways begin on the live streams on the 18th. So it's going to be a good Christmas. A lot of people are going to have a lot of fun. It's going to run till the end of the month. So basically get on as many streams as you can. I know I'm going to hopefully be on in the right time and maybe win something. I don't know if we can.
I'm not signed up for that, so don't come on my stream thinking that he can come on my stream. Just let you know, just be honest. Seriously, I'm not signed up for it. So if you come on my channel, if I'm streaming, you could lose the chance winning on somebody else's channel.
With the Fish Fam Christmas, I don't know what he's calling himself. Whatever. He's going to pretend to be Santa Claus. He's the Santa guy that's corralled that.
But for all the people that eat pizza and drink beer on Christmas, you come over and hang out with us at Motor City and we'll do it up.
Yeah, there you go. Thanks, Matt. Fish Fam Christmas. That's the best way to put it. Brian, you're not shipping anymore because of the temperatures, correct?
Well, I talked to him at like I mentioned to you earlier today. I talked to him at UPS, and they said that their shipping will still be on point. So if I take it to them and they said it'll be there in 2 days, it'll be there in 2 days. They said, if anything, maybe a day late, but they're just adding a bunch more trucks. So it would come down to temperature. I mean, if you really want them, I have heat packs. I mean, I bought heat packs a couple years ago. I bought a lot of them. So I have a ton because, I don't ship too much in freezing cold. Actually, there's someone who got their shrimp today. I didn't get a chance to tell Papa Shrimp. But my box showed up on time. On time.
That's what I was about to ask Ness about the holiday delays.
Yeah, the box was soaked,
I had to
all
write that
wet.
down.
The whole corner was like ready to tear off, and nothing leaked.
Awesome.
My bags did not leak. Nothing leaked. All the shrimp. So they dropped it in something, or it was sitting in snow in the truck, but it showed up. All shrimp are good. So UPS got it going on. So if anyone did need anything and they wanted to have for the holiday, I'll send it. But from what they say, it won't be late. So
awesome.
You can have it with your Christmas dinner.
Big Tank Hank is in the house. And just so everybody knows, I will be his guest on his stream Friday night. So we have to do it a little bit different. We're going to pre-record it, and then it's going to broadcast live on Friday. So
I'm not screwed, Stephen P. You got a free net coming in the mail, sucker. Actually, my wife's sending it out tomorrow. It's already up there. It's ready to go. She didn't work today, so. No, it's just. Like always, I have a lot to do. I'm really busy. So that's why it's even hard for me to get on somebody's stream. I'm back to work. I work all day. I have this to take care of. I have my mother to take care of. I have my family to spend time with. I have a lot going on. So for me to give my time somewhere else, and it takes away from my family or something, I can't do that. It's so I do what I can when I can, and it's just something that I couldn't promise. I couldn't promise that I could do it, so I didn't. I didn't even want to try.
Yeah, that's understandable.
Yeah, so I'm just real busy. That's all. Don't hold it against me because I got a job. There's a lot of people out there it won't work, so not this one. No, but that's why. That's all. But I'm here for everybody. Hey, Merry Christmas.
Merry Christmas. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, I know it's all good, Steven. I know you just played, but that is the truth. Big Tank Hanks asked me twice to be on his channel, and I just can't. Like I say, if you want me on, like Papa Shrimp messaged me just before I got in the shower. Hey, come on, send me a thing. I said, all right, let me get a shower real fast. It's if you want me on your channel for some reason, you want to kick it or something. You got to get a hold of me that day. But if you ask me days in advance, I can't promise anything because I don't know what's going to happen. And that's just the truth. It's the truth. You guys see, I stream at all different times. It is what it is. So.
Oh yeah.
But that's it. Are you going to be, I'll hold it against you. Thanks, Tropic. You're such a great guy.
And just so everybody knows, I've had a blast so far. We got a few more minutes left, but don't forget yes, we're all enjoying the holidays and spending time with our families or trying to find ways to be with our families and all that stuff. So don't forget about the people that deal with issues that probably become more difficult during the holidays. So we all need a little bit of boost, and we have a great fish fam. And I think this fish fam Christmas thing is a really awesome thing where everybody gets to come together and kind of just be in a community together, because it's an escape for a lot of us. For a lot of us, this is a way we deal with being so busy in life, is our hobby and being able to share it with other fish and shrimp nerds. I know I enjoy it, and I'm grateful for all of you being out here with us, because that's kind of cool.
And everybody, if we can get Papa Shrimp some orders during the holidays. I don't mean to point it out, but as you see, he can't keep his lights on. His tanks are all dark. So if we can get a bunch of orders together for him, the guy needs a little bit of help. We got to get his lights on for the holidays. Santa needs to find his house. So if we can all come together.
Right. Exactly. And I made a new coffee mug if anybody wants a coffee mug.
Oh, that thing's bad. That thing's sweet.
I think it's pretty cool.
It is.
Let me see. I want to pull it up, see if I can pull it up without it looking
Mississippi
funky.
hippie. Oh, look, Mississippi hippie. It's giving you the peace sign there, Papa Shrimp. She said, woo, woo.
Yeah, I said, hey,
What?
Papa Shrimp needs some love. Here, wait, let me see if I know how to do this. Screen share. That's the one I'm trying to share. Can you see that? Or no?
No. Not yet.
I don't know how to do this.
We called Jess. She taught you how to put that video up there.
There it is. It was there.
I'm just jealous because I can't figure it out.
Okay, yeah. So anyway, go on to my Teespring, and you can check out that the coffee mug. I think it's pretty cool. It's got the little Santa hat on it. That'd be cool. I don't make much money off of it, but just to have a coffee cup in people's hands, and then maybe see them on a stream drinking out of a Papa Shrimp cup, that would be cool. Merry Christmas.
Yeah, everyone's got, well, not everyone, but a real coffee drinker, has a handful of different cups, and I don't even know. We probably got, I don't know, maybe 10 different coffee cups here. So, I mean, I just use plastic ones, but between my wife and my mother, there's a whole bunch up there. So coffee cups are pretty neat, even if just to see them up in your cupboard, it's pretty cool. So.
What's up, Jeffrey?
So, you got, you still shipping through the holidays, Papa Shrimp?
I'm really seeing how this week's shipment went to determine, because I got a phone call today from a very happy customer. So 2 days, that's not bad. Everything was healthy. I'm hoping all the rest arrive healthy. I had some delays last week that, unfortunately worked against me, but everything's all worked out, and it kind of put me on notice just to pay attention to how things went this week. And I changed it to only shipping on Mondays, and if
it happens though, bro, it's happened to me. I mean, it happens to everybody. Sometimes you just can't, you can't help it. But that's one thing that has always been good is the couple times that it happened to me, the customers were always still forgiving and
everybody's been super awesome.
Yeah.
Everybody's been super awesome. And so, yeah, I thank everybody that's on here that has ordered and gotten shrimp from me and helping me out, because all the feedback is only going to help me learn and get better and know what to do to correct any mistakes if made.
The bad thing with you and what you're going to have to work, like you were saying, everybody's got to get their own thing. But see, you're in a hot place, or I should say warm place. So if you try to send to like Michigan, we're, 22 degrees and snow. Well, how are you going to keep those shrimp warm when they get here? So that's your thing. You got to put in like a heat pack that's far enough away that like won't really start getting hot for so many hours and stuff. And, so what did he put? Good thing is you got years of failure sitting in chat. Hey, it is what it is, right, brother? It is we all got to start somewhere. But, yeah, it's just, I guess it all depends where you live. You gotta figure it out. What works best for you, going from someplace warm to someplace really cold.
Right.
That'd be hard. Holy crap! That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother. Job is trying to figure that out. I mean, what I started doing, what I didn't do before, is checking the weather in other states. I never did. I thought, oh, well, if I'm 60 degrees here, there's 60 degrees there. And, they could be freezing, or they could be 105 degrees. And when the shrimp get there, they die, so.
Yeah. And that's the good, like Fish Tropic says, we got years of failure sitting in chat. And that's because all of us have tried or failed, or we're all doing the same kind of thing. So I like the fact that we're all learning together. You know, that's the cool thing is that everybody's working together, and you know, we'll all succeed. It's just going to grow the hobby, and that's the main thing. You know, I want to foster the hobby and make it fun. You know,
I just
can't
saw
do that if
somebody
we're all.
selling a whole tank of platinum guppies this morning. I sent them an email, see how much they want for the whole one, but I ain't got a message back. I thought, ooh, a whole tank of platinum guppies. That's so cool.
All
I'm not
right.
a guppy person, but they're pretty.
Well, hopefully, maybe everybody learned something. Maybe you still have more questions. If you do, drop me some comments in the thing below. You know, let's pose some questions. Maybe we'll talk about it some more. I'll definitely keep you up to date on what I do with the tanks that I do reset. I want to do some videos on it too, because I think if you saw what I saw, and if I can put it into a video the correct way, maybe you'll understand why I'm comfortable with it and why I think it's kind of beneficial in some cases.
Papa, what shrimp you got for sale? Fish Tropic ass real fast.
I have the PRLs that I have for sale, but I really have a 50% off sale on my the Fishbone Galaxies and the Super Red Cherries or Super Red Crystals.
Yeah, I hang dry my nets, Jamie. When I'm done with them, I stick them on magnets. On every net, I hang dry every net. I don't put them in chemicals. Maybe I don't know, once every couple months. But the chemicals break it down unless you use just like vinegar or something. But yeah, I hang dry all my nets.
I put my nets in a vinegar and water, white vinegar and water solution. I dip them in that and rinse them off. All right, everybody. Thank you for keeping it Shrimple with us. Brian, I appreciate you coming up with me again at the last minute.
Hey, thanks for sending me a thing.
Hey, no
I
problem.
love coming on here.
Y'all have a good one. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next time.
Peace.